everyone, and welcome back for just a quick little update on what's remaining for me for the rest of the year. After the World Championships, the two World Championship races didn't go the way that I wanted them to. I didn't really get the result that I wanted or thought that I could do, compared to where the training was and how things went in the last year. I wasn't in the best of places mentally. Just haven't had the season that I wanted. I'll talk more about that on a little bit on another video, but had a meeting with Coach Julie just to talk about what comes next and how we push through the rest of the year. Obviously, we decided to do Ironman Florida, and if you missed that recap, I just finished that up a few days ago. And that was fine. It wasn't the best race of my life, but it wasn't a bad race at all either. But I've definitely spent a lot of time in the last couple of years, having a successful November, December, and having some really good races. Obviously, Daytona is the most notable one in 2020, but Arizona last year was on the podium. 2020, I was able to get on the podium at Ironman Florida then and get the qualification ticked off. So I've kind of been able to race deep into the year and be successful doing that. And so we're just talking about, what to do with her and with Julie. And, I knew to get into the top, into the end of the year bonus area with the PTO, I was going to have two really good races. Obviously we had decided on Florida, but, I didn't really know what to do in December. And when Daytona, the Pro Field Clash Daytona was canceled, that it's been where I've ended my year the last couple of years, and I've enjoyed that race. And so, obviously that kind of threw a wrench in the original plans and things like that. And so, we just talked about what options we had, and, obviously, there's a few pro races on the circuit. Indian Wells is one, Bahrain is another, and then Brazil has a 70.3, and then there's some challenge races in Ecuador. But I'd had enough of international travel, to be completely frank. I've done 2 European trips that were both. I did 2 races on each trip, and I didn't really want another international trip this year. Obviously started the year in Chile as well. So that was three decent international trips. Patagonia, man, was kind of in the same, that would be a fun race to do at some point, but I just didn't want to add the travel and the logistics stress for the year. And, for whatever reason, I just wasn't excited to go to Indian Wells, and end the year with the 70.3. And so I kind of, as a joke, threw out the idea of going to CIM and just seeing if I can run a 2:18 to just hit the Olympic trials qualification standard. And really, it wasn't very serious. And I won't give you the verbatim of what Coach Julie said, because this is the family show, but she was definitely excited about the idea. And I thought about it a little bit more, and I've always been asked what I could go, or what I think I could go in an open marathon. I really haven't ever really done one, and my response is always, well, if I was going to do one, I would want to do it right and have a full on, a proper build into the race and train specifically for the race itself. But I'm not going to do that, I guess. We decided that I think it's going to be, as fun as it can be, I guess, to just go and see how CIM treats me. Obviously, it'd be really arrogant to think that I can just roll up and run a 2:18 off of very little specific prep for it. I just did an Ironman 4 weeks before the CIM is actually going to happen. And so I was all in for Ironman Florida. Basically I had the normal build that I would into a November Ironman. And so I'm going into this on, I had forced the recovery a little bit, was running a little bit earlier than I wanted to, and the body fought me a little bit more. I was quite sore after Ironman Florida. Usually I don't get that bad, but this one, for whatever reason, I cramped up a little bit at the end of the race, so that was probably a big part of it. But after Nice, I felt quite fine 2 days later. There was no soreness in the quads at all. This one I was limping for a couple days, but yeah, so forced the body into things. Sunday I did a proper long run with some hard intervals, and I think every run after, for the first 4 or 5 runs after since Ironman Florida, I hit max heart rate. I did some 1K repeats yesterday, and they went fine. The body felt good. Heart rate was still pretty obnoxious, but it started to come around. And then today I did just an aerobic 10 miles, and things kind of fell into place, a little bit more in line with where they should be, heart rate to pace wise and efficiency wise. So I think physically I'll be able to get there and do a little bit of work the next 8 to 10 days, and then taper off for one final go. Again, it would be really silly of me to think that it's going to be easy, or to think that, I can do this no problem. I know that my back's up a little bit against the wall. I was talking with this to the guys I work with at Human Go, and they are like, well, let's do what we can to at least make the best plan possible for you. So they are helping me get out to the Human Powered Health Lab, which is their parent company now, I guess, in Minneapolis. And we're going to do some testing, do some, obviously a 2:18 is a 5:15 pace. And so we're going to do some testing to really dial in the nutrition plan specific for marathon, because I've not done that. I've done a lot of testing to do on myself to do, Ironman nutrition plan, but that's quite a bit different when you don't have a 112-mile bike beforehand. So I've got a lot to figure out. I've got a very short time to do that, but I'm gonna try to tick all the boxes and at least have a plan for how I go and approach the race on race morning. For me, this is pass fail. I'm not going there to see how fast I can run a marathon. Honestly, that doesn't excite me. If I was going to do that, I would, approach this. If that was my driving factor, I would really do a proper build and find a time that I could fit in a full marathon build into it. It's really just, can I make the Olympic trials or not? Or might make that cut. Can I go under that 2:18 mark? That's the, it's a yes or no kind of thing for me. And, and I'm all right with that. That kind of takes away the, how do I pace this? What's my approach on race morning? It's really just dial into 5:13, 5:14 pace, and hang on for dear life. I mean, CIM is typically a fast course. It's usually good weather conditions, so that's a step in my favor. But yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. I've not run that hard for that long, and really not gone that hard for beyond a 70.3 or a half marathon. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out if I can accomplish that. I think looking at all the numbers that I've done in testing before, I think that I would, given a proper build, that I might have a shot at, or have a much better shot at it. I think I could do that for sure if I were able to dedicate, a full 2 months to just prepping for this race. But on, kind of 3 weeks of throwing it together, it's a bit of an unknown. And, I'll be honest, I originally just planned on just going and not really talking about it at all, and not really doing any, announcement and just kind of showing up and running. And, originally I justified that by just saying, oh yeah, I'm just doing it for me. I want to have fun at the end of the year. This is, just something that I want to do for myself. But in reality, I think it was, what if I fail? In the back of my head, or what if I don't do it? And, so this, after having a lot of conversations with the athletes that I coach about goal setting for the next year, and kind of talking about like, if you reach every one of the goals that you set, you are afraid of setting goals because they shouldn't be easy. They should be things that really push you, make you uncomfortable, and maybe aren't the easiest to talk about. I kind of felt a little bit of a hypocrite for not wanting to talk about me going to this race. So I guess, that's why I decided to make the announcement. And I'm heading to the lab here in the next couple of days to do some testing. I'll put some information out on what I find there, and we'll do some review after that. And then I'll check in at least once before the race, and then hopefully have some fun things to talk about afterwards. But if not, that's okay. It's really just to go out and see if I can do it, and if not, I'm good with that. The next day will come. It's really, I'm not making a living doing this race at all. It's really just a fun thing to do. But like I said, I felt a little bit hypocritical for not wanting to talk about it. So wanted to push this out just to kind of tick that box and feel a little bit better about telling the athletes that I coach to set strong goals and be willing to tell me and talk through the people in your circle with that. So thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have some fun things to come out of this as we build up and through the race.